Hello and welcome back to the Chelmsford News Show. I'm Tom Christiano. Well, today I'm thrilled that I'm here with my good friend Roberta Witts in the center of Chelmsford. Hi, Roberta.
Hi, Tom. Good to see you again. Good to see anybody.
Yeah, right. We're right towards the end of the pandemic, which is when we're taping this, at the end of May of 2021. And this weekend, the governor is going to get rid of a lot of these restrictions on businesses, right, Roberta?
That's right.
So,
yeah, we're looking forward to being able to welcome more people in and having people more comfortable. Again, I think it's up to each individual. If they've been vaccinated and they feel safe coming out, we welcome them to come on into the shop and the gallery and have a look around.
Which would be fantastic. And Roberta and I both had our full vaccinations, of course,
right,
as a great many of the adults in this area have. I looked at the statistics.
Right.
And that's why, you know, we don't have masks now. And whenever I go into a shop, I don't need one. And once the things change next week with restrictions, I won't be wearing a mask all the time because I don't need to. And when I bicycle every morning, I don't need to wear a mask, even when I'm passing somebody. Now, thank God, because of these vaccines, right?
That's right. I know. It's much more comfortable being outside and getting fresh air. The weather is changing. I think spring is coming and everybody has a new hopefulness, I think, and a new positive outlook, which we could use after this last long year.
No, what, hasn't it been a strange year? You're right. A year and like 3 months or something. It began kind of in March of 2020. The big close down. We're in May of 2021, so about 14 months now. And I'm so thankful, I'm sure you are, Roberta, as well, about the researchers, the people who funded the vaccine research, the people who administer the vaccines, the doctors and nurses who put up with the risks to their own lives, and
yeah,
many of them did pass away from COVID-19.
Yeah, no,
because
there are a lot of heroes and first responders and
yes,
the hospital folks and you know, the firefighters, police, everybody had to deal with, you know, who knows what when they were coming on a situation, and the medical team. So we definitely appreciate everybody's involvement for sure.
We do, yeah. So I'm so thankful, as I'm sure everybody is, that the vaccines have been developed so rapidly, so that, and they're working great because the rate of people getting this COVID-19 has dropped significantly just since we've all started getting vaccinated. And as we go on another month or two, the rate should be much, much lower, say by July and August, so that we'll almost be back to normal by then,
well,
even though we're very close right now.
You know, obviously there's things to be hopeful for, you know, as long as people are still being vigilant and cautious, but yes, things are definitely looking up, and definitely seeing improvements, you know, everybody's health and well-being and attitude. Yes,
yeah, and just to let everybody know, we're at Picture Yourself Custom Framing Shop and Gallery right in the center of Chelmsford.
That's
that
right.
Roberta owns us. It's been almost 40 years, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. So
and
long,
still,
I don't even remember.
Yeah. Well, it was in the mid-'80s, though, that you started, kind of.
Yes, it was.
And do you love working here and owning the shop, or no, Roberta?
Well, obviously, 40 years, I'm enjoying it. My favorite part is working with the clients and helping them choose the framing, and anything that comes through the door we know means something special to every person that, you know, that carries it in here. So it's our job to preserve them, protect them, enhance them, and give them many years of pleasure. So it's a great job, and educating people on the quality of the product and the materials and how to best preserve that special memento that they're bringing in. That's very important to us.
It is, and you've mentioned, I think, to me that you've been very busy during this past pandemic year, right? Even though we had a pandemic, is it maybe people have been painting more or cleaning out their house and finding things that they want to preserve?
You're absolutely right. We were closed for a few months because we had to be. And that was difficult. We still had some work in here to do, and occasionally I could make a delivery and drop off on a porch safely. But as people stayed home, they picked up new hobbies, like you mentioned, whether it be painting. But I'll tell you what, we're framing needlework now, like forever. I sprained my thumb. We're doing so many. We probably, from last season into Christmas, I think I did over 80 needlework, and I might do in a normal year 40 to 50. And then just those few months, we did that many before the holidays that we were open because people were home and finding projects. And we're also framing a lot of diplomas. Right now, we're having a special on diploma framing because it is the season. But I do believe that with all the people doing their Zoom calls and looking behind them and making sure they look, you know, official, all of a sudden we have quite a few more diplomas coming through the door than we did. You know, maybe they cleaned out a drawer, as you said, and found something. So we're framing more mementos, more meaningful things. Like, it's almost every project is something that deserves a bit more attention than just putting it in a regular frame. You know, we're doing maybe military badges or medals. We're doing christening gowns. We're doing, and you know, if a family member has passed, we're doing different collages and memorabilia for those kind of important moments and things too. So a little bit of everything, but you know, and it's fun to see some of the children's art.
So Roberta, you do a lot of diplomas and things like that too? And
Yes.
this is the season now, right?
It is the season. Like I was saying before, usually this time of year we have a special, we don't really put sales on anything, but diplomas are so special, or any, you know, significant certificates or achievements. So right now we're having a 20% off the framing of those documents through July 1st.
That's a great idea, and it's a nice thing to do.
Well,
20% off.
Yep, and people have worked really hard for these, and I'll have to say this last few months we're framing more diplomas than ever because, again, of the COVID, people cleaning out their homes and they're finding things in the drawers, or they're doing a Zoom and they want to look professional behind them. So we've been framing quite a few diplomas now, I think probably for most of the folks that are working from home now.
That's wonderful. Wow. So, yeah, so we were mentioning during the COVID, I mean, people have been painting more. They've been doing, what's that, knitting kind of thing?
Oh, crochet and
needlepoint, I mean.
Needlework, quite a bit.
And they get a lot of that framed. And speaking of frames, look at all these. Could you see all these sample frames here? There's a whole wall filled with them, right,
Yeah,
Roberta?
yeah.
So you and a customer pick them out together. Is that how it works?
Well, someone will bring in their work and we'll, you know, find out a little bit of backstory of what they're expecting and where they're putting it and things like that. But then we'll advise them on the best way to enhance it and preserve it. You know, whether they want gold or a wood frame, or, you know, everything we do is custom here. So nothing is off the rack or prefab. We do order everything to order or create it here ourselves. We have an upstairs storage area with thousands of feet of molding. So there are many.
You do up here?
Yeah, right above us. Yeah,
that's wonderful. You have storage up here.
So if we have an emergency framing situation where someone needs something in a hurry, we can go upstairs and check our inventory and usually get something for them within a day or so. But right now, because of our reduced hours and we just have quite a good volume of folks coming in, our normal turnaround time is probably between 4 and 6 weeks for our work.
Yes.
And again, our hours are a bit reduced because of, you know, the restrictions we had. But as you were saying earlier, things are opening up, and I've hired a new person, and we're going to expand our hours in a couple of weeks. So we'll be back to being here 5 days a week, and we'll post those hours.
Starting next week?
In a couple of weeks. In a couple of weeks.
So that'll be like, say, mid-June.
Yeah, mid-June.
So what would you say your hours will be in mid-June?
I anticipate, again, it's always best to make that phone call and just double check. And we've actually started scheduling our appointments and folks coming in. So again, so it's almost like a hair salon. Yeah. You know, so we're not too crowded in here. People were socially distanced, but it is nice for us to keep a comfortable pace. But we anticipate to be open Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 11 to 5. Saturdays 11 to 3 because it is the summer and, you know, we want to get to the beach too.
Oh, yeah.
And then Thursdays we'll be open from 1 to 7. So we'll have one late night back as we did in the past.
Beautiful.
For those that might be working during the day and you know, have better things to do on the weekend than come and visit us for framing.
And so just to make sure, people will should call ahead of time. So you don't make a trip and find out that it's closed at a particular time.
Sure.
Do you know the phone number, Roberta?
I do know my phone number.
What is that, Roberta?
978-256-0140.
And I have it right here.
Yeah, you made me look.
Oh, yeah. 978-256-0140.
Yeah, so we appreciate that call coming in. So if you're planning on bringing a handful of artwork in, it's nice to know that we'll schedule a nice block of time to spend as much as we need so you can get the best choices. Coming to pick things up or coming in to browse, it's no problem. Just stop in when we're open. We don't have to schedule anything like that.
And speaking of browse, so not only are you a framing shop, you're an art gallery.
Right.
And you have a number of artists here and beautiful artwork. Your Artist of the Month, who is that now? Do you know?
Well, right now we're featuring, Priscilla Levesque,
Priscilla.
And she does have a studio on Western Avenue. But I love Priscilla's work. It's so unique. Once you see it, once, you'll know it's hers, because she does a very interesting pointillism technique,
Yes.
usually with gouache or acrylics, and she does a lot of local architecture and some scenes from the Cape, but she just has an eye for shadows and interesting formations of just everyday scenes.
Yes.
So her work is really lovely, so if anybody wants to stop by and see it, we appreciate it. We've sold a few of her prints already, so
the
she's
prints,
very
yeah.
well received, and her unframed art, we've sold a handful of those as well.
Wonderful. And when I was here, you sold some of my art as
You
well.
had your work here too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
I
a
know
while
you're
ago,
I
but
know you're
about
doing
2
great
years
in
ago.
Lowell.
Yeah,
You're doing
I'm
great
at
in
Gallery
Lowell,
Z
so,
in Lowell
yeah.
with my art, and
Yeah.
so.
No, I would say almost 90% of what we have in the shop here is by somebody local. We feature Chelmsford, Drake, Groton, Fitchburg, Leominster. We have some New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont folks as well.
In Belmont.
Belmont, yeah.
A gentleman who was just
Yeah.
here from Belmont.
Yep. And so I would say if you come in and ask me about anything on the wall, I would say 9 times out of 10 I know the artist directly.
Yes.
We purchase most of the art that's on the walls here, so we encourage folks to come on in. And right now, on I would say a good 80% of what we have, we're doing a 50% off sale. So if you're interested in getting some original art by a local person and helping promote them, promote us, and just keeping it local, right now we have quite a few beautiful pieces at half price.
That's fantastic. So people should come in now, and we're taping this at the end of May, but come in June and July, especially when they open full time again,
Sure.
about 5 days a week.
Sure.
You could come in and just look at all the beautiful artwork here, and if something catches your eye and you love it, it might even
Chances
be
are
on
it's
sale.
on a good price, yeah.
And but if not, the prices are reasonable anyway.
Yes.
So that'd be
And
that'd
it's
be
just
great.
nice, that, we're just really proud to feature some of the local talent like yourself and so many other,
Thank you.
wonderful people in town.
So Roberta, I understand. Well, you have some workers with you too, right? You have Ivana.
Ivana, yeah, we just recently celebrated Ivana's 25th year working with us.
That's fantastic.
It's been amazing. People come in and they ask if we're sisters or related, so, but after all those years, I couldn't ask for a better coworker and friend, mostly a wonderful friend.
She's a wonderful person too, because I know her personally
Very kind.
from the Chelmsford Art Society and from here, and she is so kind and thoughtful. And
Absolutely.
She even sent me a lot of her beautiful calligraphy work and artwork that she does.
Yes.
She sent me a package of it in an envelope, I believe, with little quotes.
Yes.
I was just looking at them today.
She's very very generous with those. She'll do different inspirational quotes or poems or, maybe something for protection prayer or for loss, and her calligraphy is really lovely. So she does share a lot of her talent with our friends and clients that come through here as well. And again, everybody just loves it when she signs the back of their artwork because her handwriting is so pretty, and people actually save the brown paper that the package comes in because they love the way that she has just presented their last name. So I've heard of people cutting out and saving.
Isn't that wonderful? And you said she signs the back of their paintings?
Well, when we do work here, we instead of a sticker, we have a template where we'll stamp it and date it and just say, picture yourself and the phone number and all those kind of things. But her handwriting is just so beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing. Oh, my God. So if people come in here, they'll be able to sometimes see Ivana.
Yep.
And you hired someone new, right?
Yes. I have Elisa working here now as well, and we're in the process of training. Elisa, she's an artist, mostly, I think, pastel artist, but she's from the Groton area, and her work, Elisa McMenamin, you can see her work in the Groton Inn and a few other places in New Hampshire. Yes. So it's really nice to have that artistic eye and another point of view in here. And knowing her spectacular work and her diligence and professionalism in her own paintings, I know she's going to be a good addition to working with us here as well.
I think she will as well, because I just met her today when we came in to do the painting, and she couldn't be a nicer, friendlier person. Very nice. And that's what you want in any kind of shop, is somebody very friendly, personable.
Yeah. Well, when people come through the door here, would they, instead of calling them clients, they do become friends. I mean, we're getting into a lot of personal situations, whether it be a family heirloom or a photo or something nostalgic. So we are learning a lot about, the person and how important whatever comes through the door is to them. So, we want to honor that, and hearing everybody's backstory and understanding, the personal value, maybe not a monetary value to somebody else, but whatever comes through the door is personally valuable. You know, it could be a napkin, it could be a postcard, you know, it could be a child's drawing. And that's what we want to honor and preserve and, you know, make sure they get to enjoy it for years and years.
And you do such a wonderful job here at Picture Yourself
Thank you.
Gallery and the art shop here in the Chelmsford Center, because people keep coming back for more and more, Roberta,
well,
right?
40 years is a long time, you know, so there's very few things we haven't been able to work with. I mean, we framed quilts. We recently framed a crocheted American flag, and it was pretty much almost the size of this table.
Wow.
So there are some larger, like I was saying earlier.
You framed a flag that big,
right,
crocheted.
Right.
Oh my God, it must have been beautiful.
It was very interesting, and again, a family heirloom, you know, somebody's great-grandmother created it.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, that I would frame and spend a lot of money framing that.
And again, all those kind of things, it seems like that's what we're doing more of. You know, we're not doing too many poster kind of pictures. It really is commemorative pieces or historical pieces, or, you know, something with a lot of sentimental value.
Nice. And before we end this segment, Roberta was a longtime president of the Chelmsford Art Society, right?
That's
Roberta?
correct. That's correct.
And
those were some good years.
Yeah, you were on the board too. Do you have any idea how many years? Or
I did a variety of different roles. I'd say I was probably involved maybe between 8 to 10 years in different roles. But as president, just maybe 2 or 3. I stepped away just shortly before, you know, the COVID, all that happened. So I know that the Art Society is, you know, holding on, but it's hard when you can't have that great 4th of July show, you know, with the buildings being closed and the pandemic. So I know that they have an online presence, and they're trying to do more virtual shows and things like that. So, you know, checking in with the Chelmsford Art Society, they have a Facebook page and things like that. So it's easy enough for people to get in touch if they'd like.
Yes. And I think now that the pandemic is winding down quite a bit, people won't have to wear masks inside of restaurants or shops starting next week.
Right.
Maybe they could start having their demos again, demonstrations, in September.
I
can't see why not.
I know they have done a couple of demos already virtually and have had some lectures. But that's, you know, that is hard. It's not the same. It really, you know, it's nice to watch those videos, and it got us through. I mean, let's face it, we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
You know, with Facebook and with YouTube and with some other things, it did help people feel connected. But, you know, and as you were saying, maybe not so lonely, because you have the conversations with all the Chelmsford Arts, Chelmsford Food Group, you know, and news and all of those things. You know, the Art Society, everybody sort of was getting together in those kind of ways. But absolutely, it'll be very, I think it'll be quite a celebration when we can finally start getting some of those things back in person. And
I would think the Art Society can start having the demonstrations live beginning in September, like we normally would.
I would hope so. I mean, I know most of them took place at the Center for the Arts, so I think, you know, it's all dependent on what their schedule is, for sure.
I see, So that'll be great. Do you miss being president, Roberta? Or that was just a lot of your time, right?
It did take up a lot of time, and I did enjoy, let's just say, I enjoyed the fun parts, you know? But, you know, there's a lot of work behind the scenes, and again, running a business and trying to run, like, it's almost like a small wedding every year, you know, because it takes weeks to prepare everything and collect raffle items and get hire the judges, set up, take down. I mean, it's even though the celebration on the Common is July 3rd and 4th, it's almost 10 full days of activities of preparation and takedown and you know, setting things up and getting awards and all that. You know, and it was fun. It was fun to have the party that we had. I really enjoy all of that. And when you finally get to see all these artists in one place, like you said, hopefully we'll be able to do that soon. Really nice to reconnect and just see what everybody's doing. And the children's show too, in the basement there in the cafe room in the Center for the Arts. Seeing some of the upcoming artists and talent in town, that's really rewarding. I mean, many of those kids have gone on to careers, and we've met them after they've won their scholarships, because, as you know, we donated quite a bit of money to scholarship funds for the high schoolers, too. And they come back, and we've seen their work, you know, as showing as adults, and they've come back and, you know, let us know what's going on. So that's great to see. You know, interest in the arts has not waned.
And some of the young artists that you mentioned that we've given awards to or not, that have been in the show, are fantastic. Some
Oh.
of them are just extraordinary. You'd never know, like there were 12 or 13. They seem like professional artists, the
Oh,
way they
absolutely.
were creating it.
Sure.
So we have great art teachers here, I'd say, in
Yes.
Chelmsford, and many great students with the innate talent. I think a lot of it has to be innate at that young age, or it
Yeah.
just
Well,
won't
I'll
be
tell
done.
you what, I look at some of the preschool art in the kindergartens because
Yeah.
they're so free and so comfortable with what they're creating. And again,
Yeah.
having a good instructor or assistant obviously is a way to get started on it. I think sometimes the younger artists are, their work is so fantastic, but what's valuable when the parent comes in to frame something later, you know, maybe their interests change as they get older, whether they get into sports or musical theater or, you know, some other kind of clubs or committees. Very often some of the art part of their life might slow down. And I'll tell you, when the parents come in here, their children might be in their 20s and 30s, but they're coming in and frame something that they found that their son or daughter did when they were 7 or 8 years old,
Yes.
because it's so precious and so pure.
Yes, yeah, wonderful. Well, it's been wonderful talking with you today,
Well,
Roberta.
thank you, Tom. Good to see you.
Good to see you. We've done shows periodically. I don't know
Yes.
how many we've done together. Some have been short. This is more of a complete type of Chelmsford News show.
Well, as I say, it's great to be seen rather than viewed. So
Yes.
we're
Yeah, and
we're
now-
out there.
Like last year, I'm sure we did a show where it was start of the pandemic and everything. Who knows what was going to
Yeah.
happen? Now, I don't know about you, but it feels so much better to be at, I would say, towards the tail end of the pandemic. At least for now, we don't know what the future holds
Right.
about all, you know, changes but right now it looks like we're heading down with fewer and fewer people getting COVID. So it's a fantastic time, wouldn't you say? And now that it's spring, nicer weather.
Oh, definitely.
I mean-
We're definitely seeing more folks coming in, and you know, we're able to work here more hours. Sometimes some of the supply chain is a little still tricky, I'm sure, with anybody's talking about lumber or plexi or all those kind of things. We're still struggling with getting our items in stock because they come from all across the country. They come from other countries. So that's been a bit of a challenge. And again, as you said, like in the beginning, you know, we were closed for 3 or 4 months, 100%. So
Was
it's
that
hard
a
to
mandate?
recoup from that. I'm
Excuse
sorry.
me, was that a mandate that you had to be closed?
Well, people had to stay home. If you recall, we were only basically allowed to go to the grocery store, or you know, so
for
those
that
years.
long though? I thought
It was a
short.
while. We were closed
Wow.
for a good 2 or 3 months easily.
Oh, yeah, well, that's too bad.
I mean, I'm not, again, the
Yeah.
past is the past, you know.
Yeah.
But it, you know, people weren't comfortable to come out, you know,
Yeah.
and we would, you know, deliver things to people's as a front porch versus
Wow.
having them come in and look at it together. It was, you know, you know, the fear of the unknown, I think, is what happened. But I feel now that, you know, more research is done, and as you said, more vaccines and you know, just a more comfort and knowledge about, you know, the virus.
Yes.
I think people are definitely more, well, here we are, you know,
Yeah.
definitely more comfortable now. So things are looking up.
I'll say it. Things are looking up here too. Yeah, I'm so glad you did well last
Well, we
year,
were
except
able
when you
to
were
ride.
closed
We
down.
were able to ride the
Able to
ride
get
the
through
storm.
it at the Picture Yourself Custom Framing and Gallery, right in Chelmsford Center. And now that we've done this nice interview with you, Roberta, we'll take a minute and maybe we'll just take a look at your whole gallery here.
Well, thank you. I'd love
and
to do
for
that.
a minute we'll do that. So it was great to see you, Roberta. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tom. Now I'm going to be giving you a short tour of some of the artists that we're featuring in here. Thanks, Tom, for the opportunity again. And as I mentioned before, I would say almost 80% of the artwork that we have here in the shop is by local people. So here we go. I'm talking about some of the pieces on the wall here. Actually, I've done a couple on this wall. The blue floral there was a winner at the Chelmsford 4th of July Art Show a few years back.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of proud of that. But we have Priscilla Levac, we have Claire Gagnon, we have Helen Rundell, this artist from Maine that I love her work.
Yeah.
Judy Herron is Chelmsford, Trina Teal. Also Chelmsford, Norma von Fricken did that beautiful owl.
Oh, very
And
nice.
yeah, she's from the Lowell area. We met Ray Bigelow, who does these really interesting acrylic pours.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I've been featuring some of his work for a while too. He's a good friend, and owns a hair salon in Newton, but found this artistic outlet for him, and he's doing great work with that. And then again, one of our favorites is Lisa Rogopoulos. Her pastels are lovely, and you can find her work almost almost everywhere. Like, she's been awarded many great awards for her pastel. And if you're looking for art of Chelmsford, we feature these great photos by Lee Fortier. Everything in this little section here has something to do with Chelmsford. So if you're looking for a special piece for, you know, a friend or a gift, Lee's photos are wonderful. And again, I dabble in the jewelry making too because I don't have enough to do. But the pink dots that you're seeing mean that the art is half off. So we're trying to have a nice art clearance in here so we can make room for more. And if you're interested in coming by the gallery, we're open Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 11 to 5, and Saturdays, 11 to 3. Eventually, we'll be here on Thursdays from 1 to 7 as well. But giving a call before you come in would always be a good idea, 978-256-0140.
Great. Great, thank you. And you have more art over
well,
here.
Let's see. I don't know how much else you want to show, but we got it.
We'll just do it quickly.
Again,
you have more art over here in this wall.
Yep, some pieces.
So people stop in and look at this art. It'd be
absolutely,
great, right?
absolutely. Main artist, those beautiful sunflowers, Lee Clark Allen. And then we have the beautiful work of Ann Costello, a local artist as well, Heidi Jackson from Chelmsford. When we also have examples on this wall of different types of glass and the properties that they can give you, whether it be museum glass or non-reflective. You know, we do try and stress, again, the best quality product that you can use to preserve your work. But the ultimate decision is with the client.
Yes.
And then on the back wall there, sometimes a little hard to see with the reflection, but we do try to feature an artist every month, every maybe 6 weeks or so, a local gal. Again, that's Priscilla Levesque, who does some beautiful local scenes, like you can see the church across from the Common, or some architectural pieces that she's done from the Cape and from Lowell, and her still lifes in a unique pointillistic style is the attraction for her. And then, as you can see, we do have a pretty good variety of frames as well.
Yes, beautiful, Roberta. Well, you have a wonderful gallery and framing shop here, Roberta. And I hope many people come in and check out all the art. And if you need anything framed, please check with Roberta and her framing shop before you go anywhere else. Roberta will do an outstanding job. And she's very friendly, as you could see, a wonderful person. Former president of the Chelmsford Art Society, so she knows art very well. She could pick out the proper matting and framing for you, I'm sure. So it's great to be with you again, Roberta.
Thank you so much, Tom. It's good to see you as well.
Thank you for being on the Chelmsford News again. Ciao.
I appreciate it.